Welcome to a PowerPoint slideshow on sensory perception and the pineal gland. So let's talk about sensory perception first. We all know that we perceive physical life through our five senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. We've all been taught that everything is energy, even matter is energy condensed. If physical matter is not the basic stuff of the universe, but rather energy, then a question must be posed. Why should any life system emerge on any planet only in a strictly three-dimensional physical context and with sensing systems geared uniquely and only to perceiving the physical forms of matter? The most comprehensive and logical answer is that all life systems have arrays of sensing mechanisms. People possess energy sensing systems with regard to emotions radiating from the energy fields of others, such as emanation of love, hate, acceptance, rejection, danger, approachability, imminent illness, or death. It is now scientifically clear that the human possesses not just the five standard sensing systems, but also very many more of very different kinds. It should be understood that previous scientific argument against the existence of human sensing systems and their existence centered on one particular aspect. If sensing systems such as those having to do with intuition, etc., were to be admitted as existing, then there needed to be receptors for them. A receptor is defined as a cell or a group of cells that can receive interpretable stimuli. For the eye systems, there are receptors for light and form. For the ears, there are systems with receptors for sound. The nose system has receptors for smell, a tongue, receptors for taste, and there are receptors on the skin for tactile impressions or physical feeling. Some sensing system receptors have been discovered by conventional science. One, the receptors in the nose sensing systems that smell emotions and that can identify motives, sexual receptivity, antagonism, benevolence, and etc. All these are formats of what is commonly referred to as vibe sensing. Receptors in the ear sensing systems that detect and identify differences in pressure and electromagnetic frequencies. 3, skin receptors that detect balance and imbalance regarding what is external to the physical body. Skin receptors that detect motion outside the body, even when it's asleep. 5, directional finding and locating receptors in the endocrine and neuropeptide systems. 6, whole body receptors, including hair, that identify fluidic motions of horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and even when not visually perceived. Skin receptors that recognize the temperament of other biological organisms. Subliminal sensory systems, which locate and identify pitch of a sound, a sense of heat across great distances, a sense of frequencies and waves, either mechanical or energetic. 9, receptors that identify positive and negative charged particles at the subatomic level. 10, microsystems of various forms of mechanical, chemical, and electromagnetic energy into meaningful nerve impulses. 11, receptors that sense gravitational changes. 12, neurological senses for interpreting modulated electronic information by converting it into analog signals for mental storage, interpretation, and cognition. 13, bioelectronic receptors for sensing radiation, including X-rays, comic rays, infrared radiation, and ultraviolet light, All of these receptors are found in the retina of the eye. 14. Receptors that respond to exterior electrical fields and systems. Let's look at human semaphore capacities. 1. Skin receptors for sensing perceptions of bonding or antagonism. 2. Sensing systems for nonverbal language communication. 3. Combined sensing systems for neural networks for making meaning out of at least 130 identified nonverbal physical gestures and 20 basic kinds of nonverbal messages. 4. Receptors that trigger alarm and apprehension before their sources are directly perceived. 5. Sensing systems for registering and identifying nonverbal emotional waves. Let's talk about water for a minute. The next senses are sensing systems that are similar to some already mentioned, but appear to function upon a completely different basis and are additional to them. It is now thought that this basis is almost certainly the water contained in the biobody, in the physical components of the nerve systems and the physical part of the brain. It is not yet understood how water is used in this way to create a fluidic but elaborate series of interconnected sensing systems. One of the biggest guesses, although yet to be established, is that the vibrations of the water molecules link together with the entire biobody and form the equivalent of a radar or sonar antenna. These liquid antenna sensing systems appear to detect the following categories. They can be divided into these categories shown below. They can be thought of as individualized and highly refined sensing systems. So 1, a sense of non-visual wave motion. 2, a sense of non-visual oscillating patterns. 3, a sense of magnetic fields. 4, a sense of infrared radiation. And 5, a sense of electrical energy. 6, sense receptors for local and distant sources of heat. Sense of geoelectromagnetic pulses, magnetic fields, especially biological ones. Although the mechanisms are not all understood, the liquid sensing receptors apparently are somehow involved in the remote sensing or viewing of anything at a distance, however great. Whole body receptors, which there are billions of them, to detect pheromones, sexual receptivity, fear, love, admiration, danger, pain in others, intentions of others, etc. That leads us to the pineal gland, the topic of this actual presentation. You see the image there, and the pineal gland, you can see it's located in the midbrain, really right in the middle, right in the back of the spinal column. You see the spinal column going up and then the red behind it. It is opposite from the pituitary gland. We, in spiritual realms, call this the third eye. The pineal gland is the third eye. The esoteric wisdom of the pineal gland and shamanism just comments about that. The pineal gland has for long been associated with the esoteric knowledge surrounding the spiritual, mental, metaphysical aspects of consciousness and the self. René Descartes, who dedicated much time to the study of the pineal gland, called it the seat of the soul. He believed that it was the point of connection between the intellect and the body. Here's an old picture from Descartes' studies showing the brain and the pineal gland. It's a little off base, but that's where he put it. And there's a close-up of the pineal gland. It's a drawing. And you can see the lines drawn from various places. Those are, I think, are signals. Let's see. Yeah, into the ventricles. Interesting. Let's just read it. An illustration showing the pineal gland tilting and releasing animal spirits into the nerves through wave-like openings on the walls of the ventricles. Again, this is old, outdated, but it's a demonstration of what Descartes believed. Now, scientific facts about the pineal gland. The pineal gland reaches its full size in humans by age 2. The pineal gland produces melatonin and produces more melatonin in infants and children. It is the generous amount of melatonin produced that keeps children from sexually maturing until they're older. Melatonin is also secreted in adults, and it allows us to sleep. The reduction of melatonin then allows us to wake up. As we age, the pineal gland stops producing as much melatonin, which in many cases causes us to sleep less as we age. The pineal gland begins to harden when calcified tissue, starting at adolescence. These strange calcified deposits are between 3 to 5 millimeters. They're called brain sand. They are asymmetrical crystals in the pineal gland that are piezoelectric. That is, they send out electronic voltage, creating M waves. If you've ever held a crystal in the palm of your hand and held it tight in the palm of your hand, you can feel a pulsing from a crystal, because that crystal, the kind that are mined and out of the ground, actually send out piezoelectric voltage, just like our crystals in the pineal gland. All right, association, senses, and memory. Store cycles of light and darkness, anticipating them with accuracy as the daily motions of the sun and the moon change. Sensing systems that respond to solar and lunar rhythms, solar flares and sunspots, and the moon-caused tidal changes. And that can sense coming of earthquakes and storms. I wonder about a dog's pineal gland, because my dog can tell a storm is coming way before I can. If the pineal gland is fully functioning, it acts as a non-visual photoreceptor. It acts as a receiving mechanism capable of monitoring electromagnetic fields and helping align bodies in space. With its central hormone melatonin, the pineal not only regulates sleep-wake cycles and the aging process, but also appears to act as the mistress gland, orchestrating the body's entire endocrine system, and thus, energetically speaking, the chakra system. It is also responsible for shamanic states, visions, kundalini, awakening, etc. Here's a picture of the chakras and the body. I believe this is an Alex Gray picture, the artist. Whenever a person is exposed to an EMF, electromagnetic field, such as that of the earth, the gland vibrates, sending out EM signals to the rest of the body. When the pineal gland is stimulated geomagnetically, it produces alkaloids similar to plant psychedelics. Any strong change in the earth's EMF will produce a rush of psychedelics in our bodies, enabling us to be more psychically active in shamanic states, therefore earth gland receptive. The pineal gland releases DMT, which is also capable of mediating pivotal experiences of deep meditation, shamanic states of consciousness, psychoses, spiritual emergence, and near-death experiences. All of the above are known to be associated with the pineal gland if it is working in good working order. So, what causes the pineal gland to not work properly? There is scientific evidence that fluoride added to our water systems has caused pineal glands in humans to crystallize. Underuse. We live in a highly industrial electronic world in which we have underused our natural intuitive senses. We are seeing generations of children growing up indoors with TV, video games, computers, and cell phones. Makes you wonder about their pineal glands when they grow up. If the pineal gland in a spiritual, intuitive adult sits erect in the brain, that's how we know it's healthy. The underused pineal gland sits flopped over and flat in the brain. So, we're about to view a video. The video is an activation of the pineal gland. It is an eyes open meditation using visual, sound, and like I said, it's a meditation. So get yourself comfortable. You know, you can sit down, lie down, just so you can see this, because you want to watch it. You will be stimulated visually and audibly. Your audio perceptions will pick up. And take yourself into a nice, relaxed trance state. Take a few nice breaths. Get comfortable. Feel grounded. Breathe. Thank you very, very much for being here, watching my video today. I am Bendis, and I'm the founder of the Apple Branch, a matriarchal goddess-only tradition. We have paths for many that include men, women, whatever, all multi-genders. And you can find our website at https://applebranch.org. Thank you again, and have a lovely day.